morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to the Coffee Break Chat. I have with me Cheryl. Hang on a second, let me get you up on screen. I'm still set up from last night. I did not reset my views so that I could easily set up everything for this morning. Hang on a second. I'll just go to gallery view and say screw it. All right, there we go. Cheryl, if you will introduce yourself and your pronouns and what it is you do. And
Hi, I'm Cheryl Brown Lewis. I use pronouns she, her. I'm a scientist by trade. It's been my life's work since I was a teenager, some years ago. And I also previously used to host a lot of film and theater network events throughout the Philadelphia area.
which we're not doing just because, only because it's COVID time. Otherwise, Cheryl's events are awesome, and I would highly encourage going anytime you get the chance.
Yes, we always try to keep it free, keep it informationally rich, try to, get people working and it's a really good thing to be able to show a lot of the local indie films, some, bigger than others and, some first time filmmakers, some, brand new actors. So yeah, it just depends. Trying to get everybody to where they get in where you fit in.
Yep. And I'm James Jackson, executive producer of Light Thief Productions. I host these coffee break chats. I use he and they pronouns interchangeably. Don't care which one you use for me. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. And I welcome everybody to the chat. Just trying to join here from my phone too, so I have some camera control. Please excuse my not quite set upness yet. It's an early morning. We already have Private Trump declaring that he's the winner of last night's undeclarable election, which is neither surprising nor unexpected, but still disheartening and difficult to deal with this early in the morning. So I'm recovering from that and coverage of that from last night. Well, that was weird. Let me try that again. Sorry, my phone's just being a little annoying. Let's try that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about why the election is undeclarable as of this moment, and review some of the results that are already in, and talk about those.
So did you see if they started counting some of the mail-in votes for PA?
So they've been counting mail-in votes. The problem is some of the counties were not counting them last night. And hang on a second, and I'll pin you to first, pin to second screen. Great, there we go. Hang on a second. Since it's just the two of us, I can switch this around. Pin to second screen. Oh, I can't actually. All right, fine. There we go. Sorry, Zoom has changed some things, and it's a little bit difficult to deal with nowadays. So I'm going to pull up the election results from the PA Election Commission, and we'll see what we see. Let's see here. So these are actual live results from Pennsylvania, not filtered through a news organization, not provided by a third party. And this is the counting dashboard on Votes PA. Let me actually move that out of the way so that you don't have it over top of our heads. And let's change this view so you can actually all see it. If folks are annoyed at the delays in my coverage, I apologize, but one-man show over here. All right, let's take a look. So let's look at the content. So you get to see this along with me. I'll send you the dashboard link, Cheryl. There it is. And as you can see, as of 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I believe this is 10 a.m. They have an ellipsis there, but yes, 10 a.m. ellipsis Eastern Time. Looks like 85% of the in-person polling has been reported. 54% of the mail-in ballots have been counted, and so there's still a large variation between the two. Because as you can see by this graph, there is a large variation in who cast votes in what way. Democratic voters overwhelmingly registered for mail-in ballots with 1.67 million mail-in ballot requests versus Republican requests of 600,000. So that's 0.6 million. So almost a million more, a little bit over a million more mail-in ballots requested by Democrats than Republicans. And so, you have to weigh any other results against that. Now let's see if I can bring up the other page here. Did not leave it open last night because it was too depressing.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But yeah, so you need to weigh any results that you can see against that. Let's see. Let's view all my history. There's the summary results. So here's, I'll switch to this. This is Pennsylvania. Okay. Just bringing the results summary up for folks on the screen here. Give me one hot second. And I'll send this. This is the official election returns website for the state of PA. And this is numbers right from the horse's mouth, as it were. These are the actual counting numbers that they're getting of the votes that have been counted. And as you can see, Mr. Trump is in the lead with 2,857,000 to Mr. Biden's 2,251,000 so far. But as I was saying, there's a lot of mail-in ballots still uncounted. So let's just real quick switch back to that. I want to go to, actually that's on the other screen. I will show you on this screen. Let's go to the counties, county breakdown. Let's see who is and who isn't counting mail-in ballots. All right, so right off the bat we have Adams County not counted any mail-in ballots yet. Allegheny has counted a lot of theirs. We have Armstrong County not counting any mail-in ballots yet. Beaver County not counting. Let's see who else. Blair County hasn't counted any. Bradford hasn't counted any. The home of the lieutenant governor has not counted any mail-in ballots. Butler County hasn't counted any mail-in ballots. Cameron County, Carbon County. Let's see who else. Looks like Clarion County has just started counting their mail-in ballots. They only have 300 returns for Biden, 139 returns for Trump, and 11 returns for Jorgensen. So the Columbia County hasn't started counting theirs yet, nor Crawford, nor Cumberland. Franklin County as well. I'm just in the F's, folks, and there's like a good half the counties that haven't counted their mail-in ballots at all. Right. Greene County, Indiana County, Juanita County. Let's see. Mercer County hasn't counted any of their mail-in votes. Montour County hasn't counted any of their mail-in votes. Shout out to Northumberland County for counting their mail-in votes. It's a small county in the middle of the state, and I'm sure that put a strain on their election commission. Tioga County hasn't counted any of their mail-in votes. Varengo. York hasn't counted any of theirs either. So a good large portion, and if you're watching along with me here and actually reading the numbers as I scroll, I know it's probably pretty difficult, but if you're reading the numbers as I scroll, you'll see that each county has this similar reporting, which is that Mr. Biden is winning if you look at mail-in votes versus Mr. Trump having a lead on in-person voting. So each county is reporting approximately the same thing, which leads me to believe that, you know, if you're going to look at any particular county, you're going to see the same thing as far as once they do count mail-in votes. Let's just take a look at Philadelphia County and take out Allegheny there. Philadelphia County has not counted all of our mail-in votes yet, clearly. There's only 70,000 mail-in votes counted. We registered over 200,000 mail-in ballot requests, as far as I recall. That number might be a little bit off, but yeah, so Philadelphia County, not nearly done counting our mail-in votes, but even our in-person voting vastly outweighs the Trump voting around the rest of the state. And I'll just go back to the statewide results for now and leave those on screen for everybody. These should auto-refresh as new information comes in. I forget what they had given a time for new information to come in, and I forget what it was. So, did anyone win yet? No. Did we all lose? Maybe.
I think we all lost in this one. It's just, I don't even, like, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and make my coffee. I mean, you know, how do you feel after... we did a marathon bit of coverage last night. Covered it as best we could. Had a variety of folks on with different opinions and whatnot. You know, any takeaways from last night? Any takeaways that look different in the light of dawn from last night?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just we're playing the waiting game at this point, unfortunately. I know a lot of us are probably pessimistic at this point. I mean, 2020 has not shown us that many good things could happen this year. So we're just assuming the worst at this point, like what else could possibly happen? So it's kind of like until we get all the numbers, I think people are going to be stressed out, and it might be at least a week. I do know that there's going to be a lot going on in the city today as far as protests and all that fun stuff. I do believe they're also supposed to release the video police footage.
The body cam footage, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, that's going to add to a lot of tension in the city. It's like the perfect storm. Like, I don't know if they could wait to release some of that stuff. I mean, they should have probably released it a while ago, but now would probably not be the good time. I'm just waiting for like a Godzilla to show up at my window and be like, hey, what, you know, like I hear it's November. What else do you need to happen? Like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, in a few months, we're going to be living the I Am Legend life. You know, like, and I'm glad I have a freezer full of food, bullets in my guns. You know, like I have, you know, a place that I could hide that no one would know I was there. It's just, yeah, it's like how prepared do I need to be for, you know, the next few months?
You know, it's interesting when we talk about preparations for like the worst case scenario. I was listening to somebody talk about the difference between, you know, like accelerationists talking about the possibility of a future conflict, and, you know, most other people talking about the possibility of a future conflict. I think it's one of those interesting psychological questions, like, you know, the what's your zombie apocalypse plan question has always been around, but the answer to it is, you remember the movie Office Space? There's that
yes,
dumb question.
Favorites.
What if you had $1 million? What would you do?
Yep.
You know, I think it's one of those type of questions, though. Like, if you had, you know, if there's no rule of law, and you can do whatever the heck you want, and you need to survive because there's also no services, there's nobody else out there. What are you gonna do? What is your zombie apocalypse plan? So, you know. Not revealing any secrets. What's your zombie apocalypse plan, Cheryl?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing for me, my parents have acres of land. And my dad's very savvy with building things. He built his own house. So I know that if we need to build a bunker, we'll be fine. My dad's a gardener. We'll be fine. I'll have food. He was a farmer. I know, there's animals out there that, we could, basically take some of their land and basically hide. They're in the middle of nowhere. So that's my plan. And I think my plan is a little bit different because my parents were still alive. If my parents were not, in the picture, I would totally just leave and just drop off of the map and, just be kind of living off the land in some other country, just not here.
Yep. My zombie apocalypse plan has always been, I guess, predictably a little bit more communal and water related. If anybody knows me, it's very predictable that it's water related. My zombie apocalypse plan has always been to get one of those giant car carrier ferries and turn that into a farm and living space. Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah. The ocean is vast.
Yeah. If the zombies are where you are, you can always leave and go someplace else.
Yeah. Maybe we should join forces.
Have a little land-based support unit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a list of people who are good at various things in my zombie apocalypse plan. We can gather them all together, put them on the boat. Some are good at carpentry and building things, problem solving, engineering, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I guess that that's just my communal nature. I answer problems with bringing groups together. It's
right.
I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or just a different thing.
Yeah, I'm always weary now that I find out a lot of the people that I thought were friends really could care less about my well-being. I'm more of a family-oriented person anyway. And, with my family, there's a lot of people, like I said, my dad can build anything. My uncles are mechanics. I have uncles that are electricians. If we needed to, basically put our entire family underground, we could do it. So it's one of those things. I just, at this point, my circle's going to get very, very, very tight.
Yeah. That's one of the other things we were talking about. Even if you're looking at these election results and, whether you think Trump won or lost, that's the we all lose portion, because it hasn't been a definitive delivery of denial to what he's done to this country over the past 4 years. And I feel like a lot of folks who don't have a voice really needed that that delivery of denial. And if you look at leftist online social media kind of stuff, you'll see a lot of people who go back to the well of, they could have had Bernie or whatever. I mean, yeah, we could have had Bernie. I don't think he'd have done any better in particular, but I think that if this should be a lost election, that's where you can place the blame, is not having a platform that is an absolute denial of everything that happened over the past 4 years. The platform from day one should have been, hey, we're going to just undo everything on day one, and then we'll start again and we'll fix things to work the right way. And here's the things that should be working.
I feel like some of the rhetoric that's been kind of swirling around since the very beginning of this administration, um, like, okay, we've always had this two-party system, right? People have always voted, either Republican or, Democrat, depending on, how they feel about morals or whatever. But this time it was a little bit different in that it was like, Democrats this and repubes that. And, like it's really like a us versus them and not party line, like what your platform and what you're bringing to the table part. Like it's not like you've said anything that would actually help anyone. It's literally us against them. It's blue against red, black against white, like patriot against, alien, like it's not, and really, I almost feel like they're like, I would be an alien to them because if I have a problem with, their patriotic way, I should just go back to where I came from, which is actually from Jersey. Thank God Jersey voted, differently this time than they did last time. But like, it's literally, it's so divided at this point. Like, unless we get a Republican candidate that gets through to the point of, being nominated that is more progressive and less dictator-ish, it's not going to change. So has Trump actually, at this point, built a system where the Republican Party is always going to be controlled by certain people, and my fear is whether it's him, if he doesn't die, his kids, or family members or his kids, like, is this going to be the part of a dynasty that just kind of keeps going in their family until the last person is gone or we literally implode as
well, yeah, I mean, really what this election has turned into is not just a us versus them. It's a statement on what kind of government you're willing to accept. Clearly, half of the country is willing to accept a dynastic mono rulership, strongman type government, and doesn't care that isn't good for the vast majority of people. They just care that they get theirs. I don't know. I've never been one of those people. I've never been able to say, like, oh, I got mine, therefore I shouldn't be trying to help anybody else.
Right. It feels weird to know that people are like that. And there's a lot more people like that aren't rich. I just thought rich people were like, well, as long as I'm making money, I could care less about you. But you've got people making chump change that are like, oh, well, at least my prescription medicine is cheaper. So that's the reason why I'm okay with racism and a dictatorship. Or, oh, well, I'm against abortion. So even though I'm pretty sure in his 70-something years of life, there have been quite a few children that have probably been aborted that would have the Trump last name. So it's just, I don't know. Like, it's weird that common sense does not exist anymore.
Yeah. And it also is weird that, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. No, but you're right. And that this has become this dynamic, that this dynamic even exists. I did not honestly think that there were so many people who were willing to write off other people for their own comfort. Oh, I remember where I was going to go. You mentioned, my prescriptions are cheaper. Well, interestingly, I've seen people commenting, from other countries that have universal health care, saying, you guys just think your prescriptions are cheaper because, you've never had universal healthcare. You've never had single payer. You've never had all of your people contributing to the well-being of society. And, when you have single payer, when you have truly socialized medicine, you get cheaper services because everybody is participating. It's not a market system anymore. That's a good thing in the case of healthcare. Like, somebody was interviewed yesterday for, I believe, the Inquirer was doing a poll interview, like an exit interview, and the person said that they voted split ticket. And the reporter asked, okay, why did you vote split ticket? And she said, because I don't want my Social Security benefits to go away, but I'm afraid of socialism.
Because that's not a socialist program.
I don't...
I think the education is... So actually the other day I posted the definition of fascism, all right? And if you look at the definition, it's very clear cut what it is. I think people honestly don't know which programs that we have are socialists. Like, and then the whole split ticket thing, yeah. Like, if you vote for the other people, they're going to take away that Social Security, like when it goes to, the House and Senate. Like, I don't understand that logic. I just think people don't understand government and how it works.
I think people don't understand what the word socialism means.
Yeah, they really don't. They think that it's something bad, and you have to have, some form of socialism and maybe some form of capitalism, but you can't have all capitalism, because that's where we are right now. Like, I went to go refill a prescription. What day was that? Was that yesterday? Oh my God. So yesterday, and the guy in front of me, he's getting something that he's probably gotten a billion times. And the girl was like, oh, that'll be $120. And he just was like, what? She was like, yeah, this is your insurance isn't paying for what they used to. Now you owe $120. And that wouldn't happen if we had universal health care. He had a sudden surprise when he's going to go fill up his prescription. Like, I don't know. Things that people fight for, like unions and all that stuff, they don't realize how it started. And not knowing the history and how it all started is where we are right now. And I know we learned it in school in New Jersey. So I don't know if other school districts did not cover things like that. One of my friends from high school, she actually reminded me of one of our social studies classes when we were in middle school. They had like different candidates, and they had what each candidate was, kind of had their platform on, and you would pick based on which one was, the better candidate. And they explained, what makes a good candidate, what makes a bad candidate. Like, where did we lose that? Like, yeah, we learned that in middle school, but did other, schools not learn this? I don't know. When people are picking their electives, are they skipping over these social studies classes and civics classes because they're not interested, even though it affects them in their future lives? Just like people skipped over home ec and now they don't know how to cook anything other than macaroni and cheese out of a box. I mean, this is where we are, like when you don't learn sewing, when you don't learn how to survive, outside of a technological world, this is where you are. And you can't, now people, I feel like they can't even decipher what's truth and what's false from the information that they see on the interwebs. Their logic in thinking has disappeared.
So, going back to things that are a possible, unintended positive out of this election, or out of the Trump administration in general. There's you're talking about folks not engaging in critical thinking when they see something. I would just like to say I was very impressed the other day. I'm trying to remember what it was I was reporting on. I was reporting on the curfew order in the city of Philadelphia, and there were about 5 reporters all reporting on it at the same time. I had posted it. A couple of other people had posted it, but the OEM, the Office of Emergency Management, hadn't sent out their mass text yet. They had just notified a few people. Like OEM knows who is influencers and like communicators in the city, and they had notified a few people in that core group, and we were getting out the message. You know, I had gotten them. I'm like second tier influencer, so in Philadelphia, like I'm B-list personality. I'm probably like F-list personality, but anyway. So we were getting out the message, but they hadn't sent out their mass text yet. They wouldn't send it out for another like 6 hours or so. But it was interesting because a lot of people really questioned that information, even though it was coming from reliable sources, with reliable sources. You know, like it was coming from reporters who always report the truth. These particular reporters are very well known for reporting in-depth, truthful information. And it was coming from those reporters, and everybody was questioning it. Everybody was like, really? Do you have a second source? You know, like, I'm not seeing this anywhere. I'm looking at the mayor's website. It doesn't have it. I'm looking at the OEM website. It doesn't have it. And we're like, yeah, I know. I don't know why they're not announcing it yet, but it's true.
Right.
So one possible unintended good consequence is that maybe people will engage in more critical thinking moving forward.
Right.
You know,
kind of like the death hoax that always happens. That, you know, so and so died, and you're like, wait a minute, let me check TMZ. Like, let me check, make sure, like TMZ, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, like, let's see if they all say the same thing. If they don't have it yet, then I'm not believing it.
Right.
They might still be alive.
And that might actually be an actual intended consequence of misreporting celebrity deaths. I've seen from some folks who misreport celebrity deaths, they say that that's an actual intended consequence. They meant to do that.
Right, to see, number one, how far and fast it gets out there.
Yep, and also to see if anybody will question it, or to cause people to start questioning things. It's a valuable service, I suppose, in a way. You know, it's a relatively low amount of information, low priority information. The death of a celebrity, so you know, you're not gonna. You might injure that person's brand for a half an hour or something until they confirm that they're not in fact dead. But you're not going to permanently change the marketplace or something like that.
Right.
So there's that possible unintended good consequence. Win or lose, you know, if we have another 4 years of Trump or not, there's that possible unintended good consequence. Another 4 years of Trump will also, and apparently the past 4 years of Trump have not solidified what problem an out-of-control executive branch creates. I don't know how this did not solidify this for anyone. I can see it. Most other people can see it. I guess not most other people can see it. I don't know. You know,
they can't see it because it benefits them. So they get to keep their guns, which we weren't going to take anyway. They get to be, you know, non-PC, like without any consequence. They could kill and shoot people in the name of, you know, white supremacy, and they'll be like, well, you know, that person had a, you know, history of violence or background and, you know, criminal history, so they deserved it, you know. And it benefits them. So of course they're okay with it. It doesn't benefit us who are actually following laws and rules at all. Which I guess is the part that also makes me very angry. Like you go around life being a good person and not breaking any laws, following the rules, and this is what happens still. And then you see people who are not following the rules and breaking the law becoming president and not being questioned. I mean, it's being questioned, but, there's no action being taken. Actually, he was impeached, and he still was able to run for elected office. And, here we are, waiting.
Do you think in the advent that the election gets declared for Trump, it does look like we're going to end up with nearly the same Congress that we had before, but with a few more Democratic seats? I don't know if there's still no accurate prediction on whether the Senate will flip or not. There's still 4 seats up for grabs, I believe, and those seats are up for grabs in states that are having the same type of problems that PA is having, where mail-in votes don't reflect the same thing that the in-person voting reflects. Do you think that they'll impeach him again? Do you think that any of this... I mean, a lot of actually illegal stuff has come to light in the intervening time between, when he was impeached, because we all knew he was guilty of something, but we didn't know what. Right. Now there's actual, documented, hey, you didn't pay your fucking taxes, jack off. You can't tell me that you only owed $750 in taxes and then, right, actually legitimately did not owe taxes for 10 years. You cannot right. tell me that. You're a multi-billionaire. Like
thousands of dollars, per year in taxes.
I'm a business person, and I'm pretty good at taxes. I'm pretty good at maximizing my returns, as they say. Mm-hmm. And I do it legitimately. I spend money in my business so that my business can grow, and I get returns on those taxes so that my it's the government helping businesses to keep growing.
Right.
I don't bill myself for my own work.
Right.
That's illegal.
Right.
It would be illegal for me to have my wife bill me for work that she didn't do, and right. then have her give that money to my company as a donation or something so that she can get a write-off for it. That's all illegal. That's all tax evasion. So yeah. We've actually seen actual illegal documented illegal acts of Mr. Trump now. Do you think... How do they not prosecute that?
Right. I was about to say, I guess it's like they have a duty because, they're, but, kind of not knowing which way it's going to swing at this point. I guess it's just going to take someone who is either fresh and has the time to dig, and there's concrete evidence, like you said, so it really shouldn't be that hard. But with Trump and his legal team and people who cover up for him, I don't know. It's just it might make things worse, because then you're going to have people like the Proud Boys and, all these other, hate groups that are going to somehow, some way take this out on everyone else if they try to impeach him again, unfortunately. So it's like, do you leave well enough alone and be like, shit, here's your fucking 4 years, don't fucking talk to me until, it's time to fucking
but how
get
many
someone else in here.
I mean, it's so at that point, it's literally a Cold War.
Yes.
It's literally a Cold War. You literally have people dying. What's the accepted loss rate? What's the accepted casualty rate at that
Apparently,
point?
people's grandparents, parents, kids, children, you're expendable. Fuck, like, who cares? You know, we only care about you when you're in someone's tummy. And even then, we don't really care about the person who's holding you. I am very curious, and I kind of hope I'm alive in 30 years when these textbooks get updated with what happened, between 2016 and 2020. Like, I will enroll and I love history. I was a history minor for a while. I will fucking buy the textbooks and like study it and be like, yep, I was there. I remember this.
We all need to in 30 years we all need to run for school board president everywhere around the country. That's what progressives actually need to do.
Right.
Fuck this national election bullshit. Fuck the local elections even. Run for school board. Yeah. Run for non-judicial judge non-lawyer judge positions, like in Philadelphia and most of Pennsylvania. You can be a common pleas court judge or I forget what the other judge position is, but you can be a judge and not be a lawyer.
Right.
So run for those, and then you have all the influence in the world. You have more influence than 90%. There was a recent election. The last city election, city council election, the midterm, where not enough people ran for the open elected judge positions in Philadelphia, that there was much of a choice. You have to pick. To pick 7 candidates out of however many candidates run. There were 8 candidates, and 2 were not qualified according to Judicial Watch. So if 2 were not qualified according to independent lawyers who look over your history of writing and your history in the legal profession and decide whether or not you're qualified, and there are 7 people and only 8 run, you're by default electing at least 1 unqualified judge. Same thing with all these positions that are getting filled. I mean, fucking Amy Coney Barrett or whatever the fuck her name is just got put on the Supreme Court, and she's not qualified. She's not qualified for the Supreme Court.
Qualified. Like, she has no history. I mean, yeah. Like, if these people were in any other profession, they would not be allowed for, whatever reasons. Like, I don't understand. Like, even with having like bad credit or having bankruptcies on your history, like, you wouldn't be able to have a job, but somehow you can be president. You can
somehow you can be a Supreme Court justice, and be a rapist. Experience.
Right, exactly. You have a history, like, or you could be president and have 20 different lawsuits against you. So yeah, like, I guess we are in that place where they're saying, kids, you can be whatever you want to be if you put your mind and money to it.
and the interesting thing is, the Democratic Party does not do what the Republican Party does. It never has. Even when it was a reverse position where the Democrats were actually the ones who were backing, who were against civil rights and backing the KKK. Even back that far, the Democratic Party has always maintained one thing all the way back to its founding, which is that it plays by the rules. Right. The Democratic Party always plays by the rules. It's never as ruthless as the Republican Party. Why? It's past time to be ruthless, folks. Just be ruthless. Just,
Right.
do what you need to do. Get people into government at all levels who agree with your way of thinking, regardless of whether they're qualified, regardless of whether they're perfect, regardless of whether they have a history with hookers or spanking people with rolled up newspapers or magazines or whatever it was that he did. Be ruthless. Be ruthless. Right. Put people in office. When I have a problem here in Philadelphia, there's a particular candidate, and most of the people who know me will know who I'm talking about. But I'm not gonna name this council member outright right at the moment because I don't need the pushback. I've tried many times over many topics to align with this council member and work with this council member. This council member refuses to work with me, refuses to return my calls, refuses to return my emails, refuses to talk with me. Their staff refused to talk to me. I don't know what it is that they don't like about me. And I honestly don't care. It's probably just that I'm brash and I don't hold back and I just tell things like they are and I don't give a shit if you like me or don't like me. I'm here to do things and get things done.
Right. And you're supposed to be there for the same reason.
Right. So why aren't you? Why are you worried about every little nuance to every candidate, to everybody participating at every level, excuse me, just get people in to office, get people into government, get people participating who can get shit done. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be people that you like. They don't even have to be people that agree with you on everything. If there is something that you align on, you align with them on that, and then you push them on the things that you don't align on, and at some point in the future, you'll have that battle. But you need to get the thing done that you're working on right now.
Right. Yeah, and it's crazy how a lot of people, when they're voting, like if they're not perfect, they won't vote, or it's a dating process where we're not, this person is only going to be in office, hopefully, for as long as they need to be. And then when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they decide to never run again, like you pick someone else that's close to what you need and what you want. Like, I don't know. Or people just get complacent. They're like, oh, that guy, he was, in office before. He seemed like he's doing a good job. Let me go ahead and just re-vote him in, even though they don't know what they're doing behind the scenes to, make your life miserable. You have to do your research. You just can't vote, straight down or, for a familiar name or face. It's about, when you go in, well, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, it's crazy. When people bet, you're not going to bet, on the horse that, you've seen race a billion races. You want to bet on the one that's going to win and, win you money and do things for you or, something like that. Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 minutes of... I haven't been carefully watching the numbers that we have underneath of us here, but the last update is still 10:10 a.m. I'm just going to refresh the page for you, just see if any new results came in while we weren't watching. If results come in at all now.
Right.
So it looks like the page is a little bit backed up. Doesn't seem to be reporting new numbers right now. Waiting on that. Let's look at the election numbers. Looks like the The new numbers are there's no new numbers in on the election results yet. These are exactly the same as the beginning of the coffee break chat. Still waiting here in PA just to see what happens. There are several demonstrations scheduled today in Center City. 1 p.m. on Independence Mall. Count Every Vote in Philadelphia, rally and march. At 3 p.m., the group may march to City Hall to continue the rally. So they're going from Independence Hall to Center City. At 2 p.m., at the Hanneman Hospital, Election Day, Judgment Day. I don't know what group is associated with that. It's unclear from the title of their action. 4 p.m. at 15th and JFK, Trump Pence out now. That's Philly Social Liberation. They unsuccessfully were in the leadership of one of the marches for Walter Wallace Jr. And had some problems, so hopefully they'll not have those same problems today. But they do have an event starting at 15th and JFK at 4 p.m. 4:30 p.m. Also at City Hall, Don't Let Trump Steal the Election March. And at 5 p.m. at City Hall, Don't Let Trump Steal the Election event. So those are both obviously associated with progressives and liberals. I did also see a couple of pro-Trump marches and events promoted in the last couple of days. So if you're out there, be careful out there. We don't want anybody getting in scuffles or fights or causing any violence. It's not worth it, folks. I mean, it is worth it, but it's not worth it. So yeah, please don't get in any fights. Just gonna add pin on first screen. Just gonna welcome Chris to the chat. We only got a couple minutes left. Chris, what's up?
Oh no, I was just stopping by to say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
See what you guys were talking about. I was listening to the broadcast a little bit. I'm actually driving down to Delaware right now, on my way to get tested to do. Hopefully things go well in the next 48 hours and it's an acceptance speech provided. But we'll see.
Ah, 'tis true. Yeah, I forgot about he was supposed to do it here in Wilmington.
I'm almost wondering if they might, because the election results have come in. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be today. I'm doing the loadout for it before tomorrow, but I'm wondering if there's a possibility they might push it back a day. If the results aren't perfectly clear by the time by showtime, I guess.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I guess we'll see.
with Trump declaring himself winner and saying that he's going to stop the vote count, we'll have to see what actually happens.
Does he have any actual legal mechanism to do that? Like, how much of that is just bullshit?
It's entirely bullshit. He has no legal jurisdiction over the elections. The elections are a state-by-state matter, and judge of elections in each state makes their own decisions.
I think the one thing that we maybe have going for us that's good is that the only thing you can really do is challenge retroactively in courts the validity of ballots that were counted past a certain point, right? So he would literally have to come out and say these votes don't count. He would have to put that.
Oh, he's already been saying that. He's not shy about that. He's not shy about.
No, I know, but like the thing is with Trump supporters, like in the rallies, they're like, oh, it's just rhetoric. He's just talking, da-da-da-da-da. He would have to put forth an actual legal motion at that point. And I'm doubting that would be really all that damaging amongst his, like, core supporters. But anybody who is like kind of in the middle on this one, which I don't know how you could be, but like hopefully that would be a pretty strong indicator. And then, although at that point the ballots would pass, so what do you do about it?
Yeah, I guess that he's like at that point where if you say it enough times, people will believe it. If you say it enough times, people will act on your suggestions. And maybe he's hoping some of the states will go ahead and be like, yeah, you know what, we will stop counting, you know, like they just weren't here, or, you know, or somebody's going to cover up for him. That's what I feel.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, there is the whole repeat a lie until it becomes a truth tactic, which is employed to incredibly great effect throughout his presidency.
Yeah, unfortunately, the numbers, the Votes PA website counting dashboard is down, so I can't get any accurate updates.
That's a little concerning. I was looking at the electoral math. Technically speaking, Biden does not need Pennsylvania to win. Trump definitely does, but Biden does not. So right now, Biden has a lead, I think, in Nevada, Wisconsin, and Michigan, which are three that haven't been officially called. But those three states would put him on exactly 270. The other, then this is going by AP numbers. And then Trump is leading in Georgia, South Carolina, and PA right now, as well as Alaska. And if he got all four of those states, that would put him on 267. So Biden doesn't need Pennsylvania, and if the votes come in where what we're hoping that the mail-in ballots are overwhelmingly, or at least substantially favoring Biden, if Pennsylvania ends up being blue, Trump cannot win. But
one of the things that folks can do at home, if you'd like to do a little math problem, you can do the percentages of Trump votes, Trump registered mail-in Trump voters, divided and registered Democrat, registered Republican and registered Democrat voters for mail-in ballots. And then assume that the returns so far have been evenly counted like that, and it hasn't, because a lot of the mail-in ballots are not being counted in very Republican-leaning areas. But you can fudge the math a little bit and still get pretty close. And this math has been done as late as last night. If you take the number of mail-in votes on each side and then divide it by the percentage that remains uncounted, so multiply it by, I forget what that was now, but I think that's something like 60% or still remain uncounted, and then add those numbers to the existing poll numbers. PA is blue, assuming that all of those votes voted along party lines and that all of those votes get counted and were returned. PA is blue by something like 300,000 votes. It's not a big margin, admittedly. So take that for whatever it is, or do the math yourself. As soon as Votes PA comes back up.
It's a bigger margin than Trump had in 2016 in PA.
Yeah. So, feel free to do the math yourself later today when the numbers come back up on Votes PA. So if you go to Votes PA, About Election Pages Counting Dashboard, and I will paste the URL in the chats where we're getting these numbers. And if you also go to electionreturns.pa.gov, I will also paste those URLs in the chats. Feel free to take a look at those numbers, do the math yourself in various different ways, and we we're seeing that it should go Biden, and that it should go blue. That PA should go blue. Unfortunately, the first URL I just pasted is down right now, and I don't know. It's probably just being over accessed by other people looking for these same numbers. So, it's 11:10. We ran over a little bit. I apologize. I do have to run. I'm going to try and get some folks some help with their housing. Cheryl, enjoy your day off. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you for talking about election results with me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Chris, for stopping by. We're going to end the coffee break chat now, and really appreciate everybody for watching. These are just our opinions, folks, with a little bit of hard news tossed in. We do have actual numbers. These are real numbers right from the source. You can double check them yourself. Gave you the URLs. Feel free to learn about them. Learn about these numbers yourself and analyze them yourself. Thank you for joining the chat. Remain calm, as it were. Hope everybody has a good day and a good rest of the week. Let's see what happens over the course of the next couple of days, and hopefully we'll have good news for you within the next 48 to 72 hours. But it is what it is for now. So everybody have a good day.
All right.